Yeah, the Y sweet shop. And I remember when I was in high school, Daddy used to tell me, Cliff, don't do this. Well, every time he tell me don't do something, I would go do it. And guess what? I get a whooping. I get a whooping. I get a whooping. So this is for Brent. This is for Brent because Brent got a whooping every day. Every day. Brent got a whooping. Every day.
What was he doing,
7 days a
huh?
week. He would do something that his mother would get him. I never had to get him hardly. His mother would get him every day. She would get him before he did anything, before she got ready to go to bed. She'd come on, let me get you because I know you're gonna do something. So the kid used to beg him, Brent, please don't do nothing. He would just get him. Yeah, every day. So yeah, I remember daddy telling me, Cliff, don't do that. And I'd go do it. And I get a whooping. I remember my last time, I was 10 years old, and Daddy said, Clifford, say, I don't want you to do that. That's okay. I went and did it. I thought it was over with. 2 weeks later, had nothing happened. Daddy said, Cliff, come up in the room. I want to talk to you. I said, oh, okay, Daddy. Okay. He said, sit down, son. I sat down up in the room. It had a stool. What a stool. It was a bench seat up there, a chair, something. And I remember seeing Daddy open the drawer and take his gun out and put it up on the chest of drawer. So I'm looking at him. He said, now, son, he said, you either take this one or two ways. He said, but either way, I'm going to win. And I'm looking at him. I said, oh, this man is crazy. That's what I'm saying to myself. He said, now, if you raise your hand to me, he said, I'm going to kill you. He said, I'm going to tell God a lie that somebody else did it. I said, Daddy, I would never raise my hand to you. Never. He said, well, that's good, son. He said, I told you, and he rehearsed what he told me not to do. He said, and you did it. He said, why'd you do it? I said, oh, no. He said, well, I'm going to get you. So he pulled his belt off and started tearing me up. And it wasn't the whooping that hurt. It was the talking to me, because Daddy could talk to you for 5 minutes and then hit you once, then talk to you again. It wasn't 5 minutes, but it seemed like it was 5 minutes, And so I said, man, and you just, and I sat up and think about that. And then I asked Mom, I said, Mama, why didn't y'all whoop me more? She said, baby, if we would whoop you anymore, it would have been nothing left. She said, because you got whoopings all the time. Daddy was always on your behind, and I really don't ever remember Mama, Ruth Aline, whooping me. I mean, she used to tear Taff up with house shoes, but I never remember her whooping me. But I remember when I was in high school, it was 1961, February the 17th. I never will forget it. It was Mama's birthday, but Mary was getting ready to go to school. And I'm coming out the bathroom, because we only had one bathroom at that time. And I'm coming out the bathroom, and I hear Mama tell Mary, you're not going nowhere. She said, you might well just get used to it. You're not going nowhere. I remember this, man, like it was yesterday. And Mary standing in the kitchen, and I remember this water coming down her legs, going on the floor. My water had broke. Sin was born February the 17th on Mama's birthday. I remember that. I remember when Sin was born. I remember Sin's dad named Chester Jones. Man, he had the coolest smile in town. Boy had the prettiest teeth. Coolest smile. He went to North Texas, I remember him sitting in the living room, talking, and I mean, to me, he was a nice guy, and he still might have been nice. He just got my sister pregnant, but and but I remember that, and then I remember when when I was a senior, I remember that Keith was born. Keith Cooper, my oldest was born in December of '64. Then I remember after I graduated in July, I was already in the Air Force. Richard was born. So uh, I hated. I hate what I did to their mothers, but I'm glad I got those kids. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it was something else. But yeah, but I remember, man. I remember when Floyd Harris, that's Devitra and Benita's dad. I remember he used to come over to the house. He'd be over sitting and talking. He had he had the prettiest hair. He was in the military. Had a place right there in Denton. They still might have it. I don't know. That a lot of the guys was in the military, and he was one of them. And he used to come over to the house. And I remember one time he was sitting in there, and Mary went out of the room, and I walked in and let him see my gun. Not let him hold it, but so he could see my gun that I had on. So I was telling him, you mess over my sister, I'm gonna get you. That's what I was implying.
Right, right.
That's crazy, man. That was crazy.
Mm.
So I was crazy. And I remember one time, Daddy never put his coat in our closet. Never, ever. But this one time, me and him had trench coats, same color. And he had his trench coat. He put his trench coat in our closet. So this time he was getting ready to go, and he was getting ready to put his trench coat on, and he grabbed my trench coat and he put his hand in the pocket and pulled out my pistol. Now I'm in high school. He said, Cliff, whose gun is this? I said, Earl Chew. Now, Earl Chew was married to Barrett. I said, Earl Chew. had to think quick on my feet, man. Had to think quick on I said, it's Earl Chew. He said, boy, you lying. He said, I know this is your gun. He said, I know this is your gun. I said, Dad, this is Earl Chew's gun. So he didn't say nothing else. Then I remember him telling me, he said, Cliff, he said, he said, I'm going to take my hands off of you. He said, I'm going to give you to the Lord. And when he said that, it was I remember, it's such a chill went through my body when he said that. I said, yeah. But mind-boggling, just something. Then I remember, man, when Jabo was born, remember when Loretta was pregnant with Jabo and they moved up, it was up Roof Street. There was some apartments, 2-story apartments. Clyde and Billy lived downstairs, and I and Loretta lived upstairs. And on up the street is where Odell and Emma lived, and so, but I remember when Jabo was born, man, the little old yellow joker, yeah. But boy, we was glad. We was glad I really had a boy. Yeah, and then I remember when Clyde Jr. was born, we was glad that Clyde and Billy had a boy. We got these boys coming into the family, that name is going to go on and on, so yeah, it was just, oh man, just great times growing up, working. And I remember working at the Y. Daddy used to pay us, man. Daddy used to pay us. We'd work, work down at the Y, Whew.
The Y
All
Sweet
these
Shop.
Texas Women University. Huh?
At the
Yeah, the
Y
Y
Sweet
Sweet Shop. Yeah. All these Texas Women University girls used to come down there, and North Texas people used to come, and the jukebox be playing loud, and oh man, we had picnic tables on the outside because it had a covering over it, So yeah, it was nice. It really was nice. It really was nice. And I remember me and old Hoop baby brother, Oliver Clark Jr. Man, that was my buddy growing up, man. And we used to go on the Red Hill and have shootouts with our BB guns. One would be on the other side of the track, and we'd be on the other side. We'd be shooting at each other with BB guns, and then we would take these, oh yeah, we was crazy. Then we would take these, telephone poles, and how they wrap around the wire would wrap around these big old ceramic things. We would take these, and they would be our hand grenades, and we arm at each other. Sometimes you get hit with it. Oh yeah, it
How
was.
old were you
We
doing
would.
this?
Oh man, we must have been 11, 12, 13.
Did y'all
And
ever
shooting at
draw
each other.
blood?
No, no. But I remember one time we went down to me and Curtis Collins, coach's son, and Orbit. We had gone to Dallas and picked up some beer. Because Orbit had this bad 52 Chevy that James Otis had bought it. Man, that thing was clean. So me, him, and Curtis Collins, coach's son, that's trouble right there. Coach's son, we all went down to and Don get, and we got back home. And so we went to Don's house down on Smith Street, where Rufus Ibram's house is now, where the Ibram's house is now. That used to be the Gilbert's house. And Doris Gilbert came out with a BB gun, talking noise, and shot Curtis in the eye. Coach's son. Yeah. I said, oh, she was scared. We were scared. Everybody was scared.
So what ended up happening to his eye?
Huh?
What ended up happening to his eye?
Coach took him to the doctor, and for weeks on weeks, his eye was like gray. But it came back. It came back later, but it was like weeks and weeks later, Oh yeah, man, we were scared. Oh, we were scared. We knew we had been down there with some beer, because everybody knew that on Loop 12, everybody knew Orbit Fox, because he's James Otis' son, and James Otis is one of the big bootleggers in Denton too, see. So, so we go down there and go in the liquor store, like 12, 13 years old. Well, we was in high school, so we was like 14, 15 years old, going there. We had all these quarts of beer, and we would, oh man, just crazy. But boy, we were scared to come to go to school that Monday. Oh my God. Coach never said nothing about it though. And then Doris told me at Taft's funeral, because she was there, her and her sister Ruby Gilbert was there from Fort Worth. She told me that Coach told her he had forgiven her because it was just an accident. She told me that at Taft's funeral. Yeah, when Merlin and I was out there talking to her. Yeah. I said, man, yeah. But yeah, it was yeah, boy. Woo. Yeah, but man, my brothers and sisters, there was a lot of love. And then I remember one time, I remember one time that Clyde and I real got into it. They were young, because I remember Clyde putting our rail in the trash can. And
wait a minute.
Head first.
Wait a minute. Uncle Clyde picked up Uncle Aurel and put him in the trash can head first.
They had to be young. They had to have been young, because I remember Daddy pulling up, and I couldn't say nothing. You know how you freeze? I couldn't say nothing. And Daddy stood there for a while and looked, and they turned around and saw Daddy. Because Ariel was going to tell Mama Mohair. That's what he was going to tell Mama Mohair, something on Clyde, and Clyde caught him. And they was, because they was outside. And Clyde put his head in the trash can. I guess he's trying to stuff him in the trash can. And Daddy pulled up and came around the house for some reason. I don't know how it happened, but I couldn't say nothing. I was trying, but I couldn't get it out. And Daddy told me to come in the house. Daddy was crying. Daddy beat them boys. He whipped them boys and made them kiss and tell each other that they love him.
How old were they?
I don't know, but I remember it. I mean, they probably teenagers or preteen, because they wasn't too old, because you'll be messing with RL. But I've never seen RL fight or nothing, But I just know Clyde couldn't be doing that to RL if he was older.
Right, right. So, he was a big boy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, big boy. Yeah. But Daddy told him and made them kill each other that they love him. And then, matter of fact, I did the same thing with my kids. I say, wow. I'm doing the same thing Daddy did,
So which two?
But it worked.
Which two did you make do that? Was it Brent and Gerard?
I ain't gonna call the names out. I don't want to put them on blast, but they know who they are.
Inquiring minds want to know, so I'm going to ask my cousins.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's Brent and Gerardo. But I am certainly going to ask. So Paw Paw didn't. I mean, it's. I think it has gone from generation to generation that you don't fight your sibling, you don't fight your cousins. Because I remember, as sweet as Aunt Billy is, I've never seen Aunt Billy upset but one time, and that was when me and Todd, we were at North Lake or Denia. I can't remember which one, but we were gonna fight. We start arguing about something. We were gonna have this fight. I think Aunt Billy walked in, or either Tweet walked in and told Aunt Billy. Aunt Billy went off on us, and I had never seen Aunt Billy upset, so it scared me, just the fact that she was upset, and the talking she gave to us. And then I think George told me a story about him and one of the other cousins getting into it, and how we don't do that as a family, and so it really gave me a different appreciation and understanding for the respect you should have for this relationship, this family relationship. So to hear y'all hear what Uncle Clifford just said. Paw Paw took them in the house. He was crying. Mm-hmm. So that tells me Paw Paw was not only, he was hurt that his boys were fighting each other. And then to top it off, he made them kiss each other. So, I think we'll focus on the laughter part so much, but to hear that Paw Paw was crying, I think that sends a very significant message about the importance of family. And so to hear you did the same thing, and it's just amazing how all of Paw Paw's children, and the respect that all y'all have for family, for siblings, for cousins, where y'all look out for each other. I think that's admirable. So were there any other sibling fights?
Oh yeah, me and Mary used to kind of tussle, and Taft would try to come in and probably try to protect Mary. So I gave them 2 for 1. I'd have to tack them both. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then I did. Yeah. Mary used to tell me what I couldn't do and what I couldn't. So yeah, but we'd get into it, and she'd put her hands on me, and we'd get into it, But Mary had some very good friends like Margaret Ann Franklin, and I said, I'm thinking about that. James Earl Franklin was RL's best man in his wedding. Bobby Joe Franklin was Clyde's best man in his wedding. And Mary Ann Franklin and my sister Mary, Margaret Ann Franklin and my sister Mary were best friends. Isn't that something? Wow. And they all Haywood Jr.'s first cousins. Because their daddy and Uncle Haywood were brothers, Mr. Booker, So it's just but Mary had some friends, very close friends, like Margaret Ann Franklin, Dorothy Love, Georgia Curvin. And Mary was in high school. She sang in the chorus. I'm telling you, if my sister could sing, man, that girl had a voice. Just mind-boggling. She could sing, and she loved family. She's very protective. she was very protective, you know. But man, then I remember one night, man, Taff and I got into it. We were young. We might have been 8 and 12, you know. But I remember me and him got in, and I was picking on him, and I popped him. And we had the heater in the back room. It had to have been winter because he was on. Because we had a bottle of Griffin brown shoe polish, liquid shoe polish, was on top of that little heater. And I popped Taff. And I remember tapping that bottle and hitting me right over the eye. Bam! And man, my eye swole up. And at this time, Daddy pulled up in the garage. There was a garage there where the den is at 58 Root Street. Where
Right.
the den is, there used to be a garage. That was an enclosed garage. And Daddy pulled up. Oh man. And I had my hand over here because I know we was finna get a beat down if we told him. So Daddy said, happened to your eye? I said, Daddy just ran into the door. He said, okay. Oh man. Because I know that knot Taff put over my eye would have been nothing like me and Taff would have got. So we'd have got a beat down, and we'd have got a beat down, and then we'd have to kiss each other, you know.
So did Daddy throw it at you? He threw the bottle at you?
No, he hit me. He had the bottle in his hand. Right over my eye. Right over this eye. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, he was. I guess I pissed him off.
And so
Yeah.
what did you do to retaliate after you told Paw, no, I hit the door? What did you do after that?
Oh, nothing. I just probably did a lot of lip service, but yeah, no, because I'd rather take that swole eye than to meet Daddy and have to kiss Taff, you know, and tell him. Yeah, but I remember growing, man, Daddy used to tell us, you know, when you get grown, but don't ever hit your kids with your hand. Don't ever put your hand on your kids. Always get you a belt or a switch, because your hands are heavy. You can mess up their kidneys, you know. Daddy was very adamant about that, you know. Don't ever put your hands on your kids like that, you know. Always get you a switch or a belt. Yeah.
My daddy
Daddy
told me the
he
same
always
thing.
had this belt. But huh?
My daddy told me the exact same thing. That is so amazing. Mm,
That's what the truth does. You don't have to dress the truth up. The truth can stand alone. It's a lie. You got to dress it up.
that's right.
You know. Yeah. Yeah. But
Mm.
yeah. So man, it was good times, man. I remember, man, that Simon Ridge could cook. Oh my God, man, he had the flakiest pie crust I've ever had in my life. Arthur could cook too. Arthur cooked at Daddy's newest restaurant, you know, that was downtown. But at the Y, Simon, you know, when Daddy and Mama was so busy because Mama was working and Daddy was working, and then they would work at the Y, and we'd work at the Y. Taff worked at the Y, Mary worked at the Y. Clyde would come down and work. Ariel would work. You know, I think Billy and Loretta may have worked there. But yeah, just work, you know. But Daddy taught us those work ethics, man. You know, and now if you don't instill them in your kids, they make sorry husbands and sorry wives. You
That's
know,
true.
they really, really do. Because the discipline has to come from somewhere. And we as parents, I told my kids when they was growing up, I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm your parent. You know,
That's right.
I'm not your buddy. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
right. That
yeah.
is so very true. And I think I once again, that whole generational gap, you know, your generation, my generation, I think one of the mishaps in this generation, you know, the bungle or debacle or whatever, is we're confused. We want to you all did so much to us, with us, for us, at us. And then a lot of times our generation, or even the younger generation, I want to be more of my child's friend. And I don't think it's anything wrong with being your child's friend. The problem comes in with they don't always respect their friends. And if you know, the word says to honor your mother and your father so that your days will be long on this earth. So if I don't teach my children how to honor me, then what I'm saying, I don't want my child to live long. And so being your friend does not teach honor. Friends are like this. Daddy-son relationship, daddy-daughter relationship is like this. You looking up, listening. Now close your mouth and listen. You don't need to be talking. You don't have experience at this. And so it's oftentimes, I have to explain to our children that what you see at school, that stuff don't play here at this house. He might talk to his mama that way. She might talk to her daddy that way. But don't get it twisted. We don't roll that way. That's not how we live. That's not how we talk. And I told them, and daddy did this with me. I remember being a grown man. I think I was out of college. I might have been last year of college or out of college, somewhere up in there. And my daddy, I was telling him a story about somebody else and what they said. And the person cursed in the story. I told daddy what the person said. My dad just sat there and listened. I think I was driving his van. He was sitting in the passenger side. He was listening to the whole story. When I was done, he looked at me and said, son, don't ever curse with me again in your life. And I got nervous. I'm a grown man, but my stomach started I started getting butterflies in my stomach. But that was just the level of respect that daddy demanded. And he would always tell us, don't lie to me. You don't have to lie. Don't lie to me. And so I find myself doing the same thing with my children. I don't mind if you break it, make a mistake, do it wrong, but don't lie to me. We had these long conversations about don't destroy the trust. So now it's like daddy would say it. And I think back now, I was destroying trust between me and daddy. I remember being in high school, 11th grade, go to the prom, call my daddy the next day. And daddy, you have sex with her? No. I lied to him. I lied to him. And I felt so bad, Uncle Clifford. I called him back 2 days later. And I was like, daddy, I lied. I did. Please forgive me. He listened and he was like, son, don't ever lie to me again. And it was always this calm voice that made you like, oh, I let him down. I don't want to do this. And so, it just amazed me how, just this relationship that he and I had. And it wasn't just with me, it's with all the children, And then in talking to you, and even when I would talk to daddy about Pawpaw, I would see how it went from generation to generation. And now getting even more detail from you, I'm hearing how Pawpaw did a lot of this stuff. Y'all learned it from him. And I just think that is just such an amazing, parenting feat, if you